Open their European North Basketball League campaign against the two-time Bulgarian champions BC Spartak Pleven. Very warm welcome to you at home. My name's Joel Osborne. I'm very pleased to be joined right here in the studio by former Bristol Flyers captain Gareth Till. And Gareth, we spoke about how special a night this is. What does it mean for everyone associated with the club to be playing their first European game here tonight?
Well, it's a historic moment, Joel. You know, the club's been going for 19 years, and to sort of progress from the lower levels of the National League Division 3 and then progress to the BBL for 10 years and now competing in European basketball. I don't think even back then you could have dreamed that we'd be playing European basketball, so it's a monumental occasion, and you know, full credit to Coach Kapoulas and the organisation for sort of making it the dream a reality.
And it must be quite a special moment for you as well, because of course you captained the side back when they were in ENBL Division 1, but to now see them progressing through the ranks up into their 10th season now in the British Basketball League. What does that mean to you personally to see Flyers playing in Europe now?
Yeah, like I said, it was unthinkable. Playing sort of Division 1 in my career, and playing Division 3 with Flyers, and then to see the club just as a whole just progress so much, and to have their first taste of European basketball, it means everything to me. And there's a lot of sort of ex-players out there, and supporters have been with the club for a long time, so it means the world. So like I said, a very historic moment and a proud moment for everyone that's been involved with the Bristol Flyers.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, here's a look at the team arriving at the Balkanstroj Arena earlier on today. Flyers, exciting times for them. The Balkanstroj Arena, 1,500 capacity arena in the heart of Pleven. The team arrived there yesterday to get familiar with their surroundings. And Gareth, what kind of emotions will be going through the players' minds right now?
Well, it'll be a bit of a step into the unknown for the players. Probably very little European basketball experience there. The style of play is going to be slightly different to what they're used to in the BBL. So there'll be some nerves, there'll be some excitement. I'm sure they'll be up for the challenge. The players were brought in to play European basketball as well as the BBL. So, it's time to sort of hit the big stage and just see how it goes. And the most important thing is just to try and relax and play your game, and don't let the occasion get on top of you.
Great stuff. Thanks, Gareth. Well, tonight's opponents are BC Spartak Pleven, and you might be wondering, who are Pleven? Where are they from? Well, lucky for you, we've put together this very handy little guide to everything you need to know about Pleven in under 90 seconds.
Bristol Flyers are on the road in the ENBL for the first time in 2023. Well, not actually on the road, because that would take ages. In fact, it would take 30 hours if you were to drive from our home at the SGS to Balkanstroj Hall, Pleven, Bulgaria, where the boys will be stepping onto the court. Flyers by name, and wisely, flying this week. So where is Pleven, and is it true that it's the 7th biggest city in the country, I hear none of you ask? Pleven is in the north of Bulgaria and is home to 90,000 people. If you ever fancy the trip to Pleven, what can you get up to while you're there? Well, according to TripAdvisor, the second best thing to do is Park Kailaka. This is an outdoor space with a zoo and a restaurant in a cave. But if a bit of food and drink is what you're after on this tour, then the brave among you may be intrigued by Shkemba Chorba, or Dragon's Breath. Not for children, this tripe soup is hot. Seriously hot. There is, of course, the water cascade too. Said to be one of the more romantic spots in the city, the waterfalls and fountains are lit up at night for you to whisper sweet nothings in a loved one's ear. Things like Slušali liste nia koga podcasta na Bristol Flyers? Nope, fair enough. They haven't listened to the Flyers podcast yet. After all is said and done though, what about tonight's opponents? Spartak Pleven are two-time winners of the Bulgarian Championship and won the Bulgarian Cup in 1996. They have 13 years of European competition under their belts already, so no easy task. Get yourselves ready for our European adventure to begin.
Gareth, you fancy yourself a bit of that dragon's breath? I mean, it looks quite interesting, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I've been to Bulgaria a couple of times. I've never had the dragon's breath, so maybe I'll catch that next time I'm out there.
I mean, talking about Spartak Pleven, we saw there in a VT, 13 years of playing on the international stage. They are no strangers to playing European basketball.
Yeah, and that's, obviously going to be in their favour for tonight's game. They've got the experience of travelling abroad, seeing different styles of basketball. So, playing at home and having that experience obviously will favour them for tonight's game. But, I'm sure that the Bristol Flyers will be up for the challenge.
Yeah, and a lot of people may think, Flyers playing in European competition, it might be a step too far for them maybe at this point in their journey. But really, it is the natural next step for Flyers in their journey through the leagues. I mean, they finished their highest ever league finish last season, and now to be dipping their toes in the European North Basketball League, which is a development league itself. Absolutely.
I mean, you've got to start from somewhere. When we entered the BBL, questions were asked as well, the players, the transition from Division 1, and you're going to have those teething kind of seasons to get accustomed to the leagues that you're playing in, but you have to start somewhere. And really right now you're starting from a clean slate, if you like, so there's no expectations. It's just see how the land lies a little bit, and then progress and develop and have that regular competition coming to Bristol.
Well, let's take a look at how the teams are shaping up heading into tonight's game, starting with the hosts, Spartak Pleven. They are led by head coach Lubomir Minchev. He joined the club as head coach midway through last season. Ones to watch for Spartak Pleven tonight include 6'9" American big man Bryant Thomas, who's coming in off a 17-point performance in the opening Bulgarian ENBL game of the season against Academic Plovdiv, and also 32-year-old Bulgarian international point guard Stanimir Marinov. And meanwhile, if we have a look at the Flyers roster for tonight, they are back to full strength after welcoming Trajan Jacob into the squad on Sunday. And Gareth, how much of a boost was that for Bristol to have TJ back in the squad, because he missed the last couple of games?
Well, of course, he's a key player for the Bristol Flyers. Adds a lot of competitiveness, a lot of scoring, has a excellent shot from beyond the arc. So just to have the calibre of him, that sort of player, for him to come back really gives the team a boost, particularly sharing those minutes as well with games coming thick and fast. Having a body out there on the floor that can compete like Trajan is a massive plus.
Yeah, and the Flyers, they had that awful season-ending injury to Christian Cunningham, but they are boosted by the long-term signing now of Rafel Graham-Bell, who's now penned a deal for the rest of the season. How disappointed will Flyers fans be to see Christian Cunningham not play, and also, for Graham Bell to now be here for the rest of the campaign?
Yeah, I mean, it's massively disappointing not to see Christian play. We're all very excited when he signed for the Flyers. We sort of looked at his highlight films and his stats, and really thought he'd be a key contributor to the Flyers team. But Ralph's come in and he's hit the floor running. He had a disappointing season last year, obviously being injured for the majority of it. But he's been a real impact player for the Bristol Flyers. So sad for Christian, but opportunity arising for another player who's going to make a name for himself for the Flyers.
Great stuff. Well, one player that you've highlighted in particular coming into this weekend for the Flyers is Tijon Lucas, and what an incredible weekend he's had. A pair of MVP performances in the games on Friday and Sunday. How an impact can he have on this Flyers team this season?
Well, it's huge having your starting point guard become a little bit more comfortable with his surroundings. A little bit of a slow start for him in the first couple of BBL games, but now he's really sort of beginning to find his feet, making a real impact, not only scoring but assists and rebounding as well, contributing in all areas of the game. So to have him reaching a little bit of form early on in the season as well, like I say, it kind of got a little bit while for him to get going, but great to see him, and full credit for the support that he's had on that transition into the BBL and giving him that time to develop and become accustomed to the league.
And how important is it for him to not be, a playmaking threat, but also that scoring threat, as you see on the screen there as well?
Well, of course, if you've got a point guard, he is a pass-first point guard, but to have that ability to see the floor, you just see a good example there, the floor open up for him then, and he was able to drive to the basket with a strong finish. So, all-round point guard player there, and it just helps create more space for other players in the team.
And you talk about Tijon Lucas, but other key threats on the Flyers team this season. We've seen Brad Green have that incredible start to the campaign against Plymouth, but sort of the form, he's gone up the scouting report for other teams since then, and you see his form just drop a little bit for the rest of the game so far.
Yeah, that will happen through the course of the season. A great first game for the Bristol Flyers in terms of numbers that he's putting up. It's been a little while since the Flyers had a legit centre as well, so it does add a different dimension. I'm a big fan of Brad. I think, like I said, it does add a different dimension to the way you play. But when you're a good player, you will get scouted, and that people, coaches will scout your tendencies, which way you like to play, and cut that up. And then, it's up for the other players then to feed off of those double teams, to give them a bit of space into play, and then he can create off of that. So, it's not a big concern. He's a big body. He's a big presence on defence as well. So I've been really impressed with Brad since he joined the Flyers.
And I imagine it'll be quite a tricky adjustment for the club, because the European style of play is a lot different to maybe what the players have been used to playing at college or in the British Basketball League so far.
Yeah, exactly. And even from European country to European country, there's going to be a different style of play. So this is what we're all interested to see, how the BBL stacks up against the Bulgarian league. So it'd be interesting to see how the game develops and how it's played.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Gareth. Well, we are just 15 minutes away from tip-off, and coming up after the break, we'll hear from Flyers head coach Andreas Kapoulas.
Is watching basketball at 3 a.m. enough? No, of course not. So you always wanted to be part of the team. Your own basketball club, in your own backyard. What if I said you could? ENBL. 9 European countries, 15 pro teams, 60 games a season. The fastest growing basketball league in Europe. In the arena, on TV, or streaming live on your phone. Reach out to us and join the ENBL family. ENBL, right here in your backyard.
Thatcher's Farm. Slightly obsessed perfectionists making cider with nothing but love. As you do. I mean, why grow 8 varieties of apple when you can grow 458? The Apple Spa. Because happy apples make better cider, obviously. Here comes the man himself, Martin Thatcher. Friday, 12:30, tasting time. It needs to hit the spot or not a drop will leave the farm. Yes! And that's why Thatcher's cider tastes the way it does. Perfect.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
Good.
Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Welcome back to our Flyers TV coverage of the opening ENBL campaign for Coach Kapoulas' side. And earlier on, our roving reporter on the ground, Jack Guthrie, had a chance to catch up with Flyers head coach Andreas Kapoulas.
So Andreas, we're out here in Pleven in Bulgaria, a historic time for the club. Just what does it mean from your perspective and from Flyers' perspective to finally be in a European competition?
Yeah, it's a very exciting moment for the club. As you say, it's a historic moment. This is our 10th season in a British Basketball League, and to combine it with playing our first year in European competition, it's something that we've been dreaming of. this is a work in progress for 19 years, starting from Division 3 all the way now. I still remember the first day with Nick when we met in the Globe and we talked about the Flyers and putting the team together back in 2005. So, it's a great moment for all of us, and for the players, I think to be the first ones to play European competition in the club's history. Someone like Corey Samuels that has come through the junior program and have the opportunity to play its first European game. It's just what dreams are made of, right? So it's exciting. We look forward to it, and we're ready for it.
And it was a long day of travel yesterday. Just how prepared are the team for the game?
Yeah, I mean, mentally and physically it's very challenging, especially when you had 2 games on a Friday and a Sunday, and then you have to leave like at midnight on Monday to get to Pleven and settle in and get some rest and food and just look after your body. So it is challenging. We knew it was going to be challenging, but I think that's going to prepare us for the games ahead as well. So I think everyone got a good night's sleep, and today, we're ready to go.
An opponent in Spartak Pleven, unknown probably to most British Basketball League fans who may be watching the game. What can we expect of them in the game?
They're a team that play in transition. They shoot the ball really well. They defend in an aggressive manner. They press a lot. They have some guys that have been together for a few years, not just with the club basketball, but with the national team. They have a lot of Bulgarian players that have come through the under-16s, under-18s, under-20s. Some of them have had men's representation as well. And some talented American imports as well. So, they're going to be a tough outfit. They're coming here after their first win in the domestic championship as well. Playing at the home court, obviously, that's going to be a big advantage for them. It's going to be a tough battle.
And coming off the back of 2 wins over the weekend to bring yourself back to 3-3 in the British Basketball League, how are you feeling and how's the team feeling coming into this game? There must be a bit of momentum.
Yeah, certainly there's momentum. I think there's been good progress within the team. Looking back at those losses versus Newcastle, London and Leicester, and what we've learned and how we've applied the lessons learned over the 2 games versus Plymouth and at home against Sheffield. I thought our team showed a lot of resilience, and most importantly, you could see our identity forming, and that's the great thing about it. So certainly we're coming to the game with great momentum. We know it's going to be difficult. Obviously the travelling, but also playing on the home court as well. But this we knew that going to be the test for us. But I think for our team, it's a great challenge, and. Excitement is the only word you can kind of come up with, and I think I've mentioned it already in my interview a few times. It's just an exciting moment for the staff, for the players, for everyone in the organisation.
And just a word on the fans who no doubt will be watching from home. They've been supporting you for so long. They always pack out SGS. What do you have to say to them ahead of this incredible campaign that you're now part of?
I think that the club has aspirations. We're not just happy with where we are. We've got to keep on pushing forward. We know obviously we have our new venue in the future, and that's going to be a game changer in a lot of ways. But in a way, we're not waiting just for the new venue. We want to keep on moving forward, and this is part of it. We're really excited about the support. I know some of them will be making the trips, and they might not be necessarily here in Bulgaria, but I think in the upcoming trips in Poland and Denmark and wherever else we're going to be, basically. So we're very appreciative, and you saw the support that they came down and they showed to us in Plymouth. We have some of the best fans in the league, and we're very appreciative. And just for that, it's just recognition of what the program is doing. We'll not be able to do what we're doing without them.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Gareth, a very excited Coach Kapoulas speaking to us there a little earlier on. And you've known Coach Kapoulas for a long time now. Just how will he be feeling coming into this game here tonight?
I'm sure there'll be a little bit of nervousness in there as well, but I'm sure it's his dream to. I met Coach Kapoulas when he was studying at Bath University, actually, and all those years ago. To think that he'll be coaching European basketball, his journey through GB, the national teams, and the success of the BBL. I'm sure that's what even he wouldn't have dreamed that he'd have got so far. So full credit to Andreas. He's done a remarkable job with the Bristol Flyers, and we wish him all the best. Keep going as well and bring lots of success to the club.
And this is something that he's been pushing for quite a few years now. He wants to see the Flyers competing on the European stage. He has obviously had that experience with the GB national team, but I'm sure it must feel even more special for him doing it now with the club that he's coached for the last 19 years.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see too many coaches last such a long time with a club. He is Bristol Flyers through and through. He's built it from zero up to European basketball. So very, very special for him, and Coach Nick as well. We mustn't forget assistant coach Nick, that's been with the club for the same amount of time as well, been through the ups and downs. So full credit to both the guys there for doing so well with the Flyers.
And we're unsure on what the atmosphere could be like at the arena today. I mean, it's 1,500 capacity. We've seen it's a small capacity size arena for European basketball, but we've seen just how much noise SGS Wise Campus can make when 750 fans are packed in there as well. Yeah,
exactly. You can only imagine it could be very loud in there for the home team. But that's all part of it, being the pantomime villain, if you like, the away team. So yeah. Who knows? I mean, I'm just so intrigued to find out what Bulgarian basketball is going to be about. So it's going to be a massive learning curve for us and the team and everyone watching at home.
Yeah, it certainly will be a great measuring stick to see where British basketball stacks up against teams on the international stage. Well, it's not only an exciting night for Coach Kapoulas, but also for Flyers captain Raf Thomas-Edwards, who's going to be the very first Bristol Flyers captain to lead a team into Europe. Well, since being named captain of Bristol Flyers, Raf's wanted to find out more about what goes on behind the scenes at the club.
This is the humble abode, but this is, where I'm putting my stuff outside of basketball. For me, it took like a day of editing, and no one would know that I had to do all these keyframes and put everything together. So things that you never know. Come down the court playing defense or whatever. You're not thinking, he just spent a couple hours before the game putting together a video. So I took a year off last year to coach. That experience kind of taught me so much that I've tried to come back now and kind of see the game a bit differently. Being a captain means so much to me. Because I was coaching last year, it's a perfect way to kind of bridge the gap between Coach Andreas and the team. As a player, you think, why is he getting on me? Or why has he done this? Or why has he done that? And for me to be able to be hey, this is why he did it, and then actually understand and kind of decipher some of the messaging, I think will be huge for us. In my 20 years of basketball, I've never been the captain. So I think it's important for me to kind of take my perception of what I feel like a leader should be. So this year I wanted to know as much as I can about the background stuff.
Here he is.
Right.
Since Raf's been named captain of Bristol Flyers, he's wanting to learn a lot more about what goes on behind the scenes at the club. So today he's come down here to the office at Bristol Sport to learn more about the staff, meet some of the team, and learn more what goes on behind the scenes at Bristol Flyers.
I'm Jess. Yeah, let me see the drill.
Snack, yeah. What do you want? Healthy gains,
You need healthier stuff than this, man. When you're playing, you just think about me. And then when you take a holistic view, you realise that you're just one piece. And then outside of the team, there's coach. And outside of the coach, there's managers, volunteers. Outside of that, it's marketing team and media team and ticketing team. All of this stuff is all so important. And then outside of that is fans. So this year, I've tried to help everybody, try and reach out to everybody because I understand how important they are to the Flyers. As I get older, because of basketball and because you present yourself the right way and you used it, you're able to kind of take yourself into the next part of life. So, I don't know, without basketball, I don't know where I'll be, but I'm thankful for it. Hey, what y'all doing? What you do?
Well, the stage is set for Raf Thomas-Edwards as he gets set to lead Flyers into their first European game tonight. And Gareth, as a former Flyers captain yourself, if you were to give him some advice as to what to expect or how to, offer some words of wisdom, what would you give to Rafel Thomas-Edwards?
Gosh, I don't know if I can do that, Joel, to be honest, because I would know to dream about captaining a team in Europe. So he said it in his interview there that he needs to find his own way. He's got plenty of experience, and it's about taking pieces that you like from your experience, from different coaches, from players, and then sort of moulding it into your own style of being a captain. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's finding out about the club. He's finding out about the players. He had that spell as an assistant coach, which not many players will do, but the amount of knowledge he would have learned seeing the game from an overall perspective will undoubtedly help his playing career.
Well, we're just over 5 minutes away from tip-off. How important is it for Flyers to really establish themselves early in this game? What will be the key messages from Coach Kapoulas going into these first 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think being physical, up for the challenge. I think the worst thing they'll want to see is to get overwhelmed by the stage, the crowd, and find yourself in a hole, 3, 4, 5 minutes in, you find yourself 10, 15 points down. I think you have to get out there and really put it out there and be competitive, and then just sort of lead where the game takes you, really. So that'll be the sort of worst case scenario, is to sort of be overwhelmed. So just play your game, relax. A lot easier said than done, I'm sure, but that's what coach will be, just reassuring them you're good players, great opportunity, let's take full advantage of it.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Gareth. Well, we are all set for tip-off between Bristol Flyers and BC Spartak Pleven, and it's coming up after the break.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Cause I head tall like I'm on my tiptoes, baby. You think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ain't where the money at. Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but don't mess up the mood.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
Good.
Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Is watching basketball at 3 in the morning enough? No, of course not. So you always wanted to be part of the team. Your own basketball club. In your own backyard. What if I said you could? ENBL. 9 European countries, 15 pro teams, 60 games a season. The fastest growing basketball league in Europe. In the arena, on TV, or streaming live on your phone. Reach out to us and join the ENBL family. ENBL, right here in your backyard.
Welcome back to our Flyers TV coverage here as we get set for ENBL action between Bristol Flyers and Spartak Pleven, and there's confirmation of the roster on screen. But Gareth, tonight's game is just the second game of the season for the home side here this season. It was a 26-point win in their opening game against Academic Plovdiv. We've seen with the Flyers just how long a bedding-in process can take. The fact that this is only their second game of the season, how much do you feel that could be to the Flyers' advantage here today?
Yeah, certainly being a little bit more season-hardened will be in the Flyers' advantage, but obviously coming off a big win, Spartak Pleven, so they'll be very much buoyed by that win. But you know, having that extra game fitness and that extra competitive playing together with your teammates, that will be in the Bristol Flyers' favour.
There's your referees here for tonight. It's an early tip-off here in the UK, 5 p.m. local. It's 7 p.m. out there in Pleven. We can take you to tonight's Flyers starting lineup. And Tijon Lucas is alongside Keedy Johnson. It's Tevin Ollison, Rowell Graham-Bell and Brad Green playing the 5 for the Bristol Flyers. And Rowell Graham-Bell has sort of earned that spot into the four-man spot in the starting lineup recently. And he's sort of become a mainstay now in the Flyers starting 5.
Yeah, and he adds that physicality as well. I think that will be something, in Coach Kapoulas' notes, being physical with this team, and he certainly brings that, but he adds lots of extra dimensions as well, offensively and defensively, and he seems very assured. When he made his debut for the Flyers, he looked very at home, very comfortable with such a long spell out, so it just kind of tells you about his character as well, that he's not going to get overwhelmed, he's just going to play the game to his best of his ability, so that'll be a good plus for the Flyers.
Starting 5 for Spartak Pleven are point guard Bulgarian international Stanimir Marinov alongside American guard Rodney Pervez. Svetomir Shinokajev at the 3-man. There's also Bryant Thomas playing inside and Andrew Gordon. A lot of height on this Spartak Pleven team, and how much do you feel that could maybe problem the Bristol Flyers? Of course, the biggest player being Brad Green on the court.
Yeah, I was just looking at their roster, and they've got 2 6'10s and a 6'9, so certainly rotation-wise is going to put a bit of pressure on the Flyers with Brad Green only around that sort of height, really. So they will have an advantage over Flyers in terms of that position, that centre position, but you can adapt, play smaller ball. Transition could be very important for both teams in this game.
Here's Lucas splitting the defence, driving inside. Nice pass into Brad Green, and Bristol Flyers working that 2-man game early on,
and that'll settle nerves straight away just to get that first good look. A fairly easy bucket for Green there. The pick and roll left him wide open underneath the bucket for an easy 2, so that'll settle nerves for sure.
Gordon hands off with Purvis. Purvis with he thought about shooting the baseline 3, but kicks it back out to Marinov, who fires up the 2. There's Toshkov even, he just got lately inserted into the starting lineup.
Yeah, tough call there, but you can just see a bit of contact on the hand there, and that'll be frustrating. Shot clock was running out, just had a bit of contact. It was a bit of a heave. So, a bit of a bailout there for the player who finds himself on the line for 3.
And how frustrating is that as a coach, when you play, all that defence and then just to give away those fouls? It's the one thing you tell as a junior, isn't it? Don't foul the 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but in these sort of circumstances, I'm sure there's tons of adrenaline pumping around your body. You just want to get after everything, compete every shot. Probably weren't aware the shot clock was running down, and just one of those things that happened, and just caught a bit of bit of hand on the shot.
Well, Konstantin Toshkov at the line. He's a 6', 21-year-old point guard from Bulgaria. He had a team-high 17 points in their opening game against Academic Plovdiv. He's able to knock down the foul shot. Lucas looking top to Ollison. Ollison hands off with Johnson. Back top to Lucas now. Brad Green looking for it inside. Nowhere to go for Lucas. Here's Graham Bell for 3. Backlines it off the mark. No good. Toshkov driving inside. Pulls it back out though. Purvis now calling for a ball screen. pulls up with a mid-range 2 and knocks it down. And Spartak Pleven with their first field goal of the game.
Yeah, well-run offense there, tough shot, off the dribble, knocks down that mid-range, take an early lead.
Rodney Purvis will be one to watch for Pleven. He's got NBA G League experience under his belt as well as Keely Johnson gets his first points of the game.
Yeah, very friendly rim there, wasn't it? Looked like it could have easily gone the other way, but very soft, went in. Bristol up 4 points to 3.
Tojkov driving baseline. Extra pass to Marinov. Now here's Purvis again for 3 and knocks it down. Quick 5 points for Rodney Purvis.
Yeah, and the home crowd like that, saw them getting on their feet there, beginning to warm up. Purvis, a couple of back-to-back buckets.
Lucas going baseline, can't convert on the reverse layup. Pleven can push in transition.
Yeah, Pleven there just lost it defensively there, completely misread the pick and roll.
Tojkov inside, it's blocked by Green. Still ends up with Pleven though. Second chance opportunity, no good. And Brad Green gets his first rebound of the game. Well, Tijon Lucas just took a foul there in transition, and that one is quite a smart foul because Flyers, they had numbers on the break, Gareth.
Yeah, smart play. Just as you said, they had numbers, so we're probably looking to take advantage of that, but just slowed it down. But a legitimate play for the ball there, but a solid, strong foul. Easy call for the referee. As you said, just slowed that transition down, and I'm sure the Bulgarian team will be way aware of how Flyers turn defense into offense, let to get out and run, push the ball, get out in transition.
Nice pass into Ollison. Ollison puts it up. It's not going to count because Tevin Ollison, a travel violation was called.
Yeah, it did look like a travel from first glance.
It's hard to tell from that angle.
Maybe a hop too much.
Early 2-point lead for the hosts. Gordon. Hands off with Purvis. Ball screen comes from Gordon. Tojkov looking inside. Nothing going inside, and here come Flyers the other way. Green. Looking to hand off with Ollison. Ollison turns the corner on the ball screen. Kicks out to Keely Johnson for 3. No good that time. And Pleven do well to grab the rebound.
Yeah, been very solid on their defensive rebounds. We all know Bristol Flyers like to crash those offensive boards.
Marinov for 3 knocks it down. And Marinov, the Bulgarian international, Stanimir Marinov, extends the Spartak Pleven lead.
Yeah, and I think Nick Burns mentioning, what a good shooting team this side is. So certainly need to sort of run off the 3-point line, hand up there, demonstrating already, how dangerous they can be with a bit of space behind the arc.
Now you see there on your screen, Stanimir Marinov, 14 points in their season opener against Academic Plovdiv. 4 minutes into this one, ball lobbed up to Green, who can't convert inside. And the rebound, once again, is grabbed by Pleven. Three-pointer up, three-pointer is good. And Spartak Pleven have just caught fire from beyond the 3-point line. There's that man Marinov once again.
Yeah, big breakdown there defensively. Marinov wide open on the 3-point line. Took his time, got a good look. Strings it.
Ollison looking to respond from downtown, no good. And Flyers in a bit of trouble early on. As we approach the midway point now of this first quarter, Flyers just 4 points on the board. Almost stolen away there by the Flyers. Ball inside, it's blocked by Green. And Brad Green with a couple of defensive stops in this one so far.
Yeah, they're doing really well blocking up, the paint, but it's on the perimeter where the danger is, maybe just shrinking a little bit too much, letting players having a bit too much space out wide. But yeah, certainly Brad Green, we mentioned it in the pre-game, being a presence defensively, and that's what a guy that's that size can do, but it's the perimeter shooters that Flyers need to be aware of.
Purvis' three is no good. Here's Keedy Johnson for the Flyers. Pulls up from the top of the key. No good that time. Flyers really struggling from the field early on. 1 for 5 as a team from 2 in this game. Marinov again for 3. Another 3 drops for Spartak Pleven. And a timeout's called on the floor by Bristol Flyers because they're getting way too many open threes right now, Gareth.
Yeah, went underneath the screen there as well, and with someone that's shooting the ball that well, you've got to go over the screen, just try and force him further out, get him away from the three-point line. All too easy. Bread and butter, that just under the screen. Just got a good look again, bit of space, and knocks it down. So yeah, Coach Kapoulas with a timeout, and I'm sure he'll be talking about this and making sure they're defending correctly, and probably what they scouted and talked about pre-game.
Let's see if we can listen into this timeout by Coach Kapoulas.
Okay, just make sure we're being aggressive and get paid touches. Hold on, look something there. Now on offense, hey, let's break pairs, Keedy takes it out of bounds. Okay, we're going to run home screen, okay, and we're going to run it for Table. Table, you're going to fly over Keedy to the Table, going to great slow, 2-man game, get it back to Keedy and let's play off the step back.
Listening to the timeout, Gareth, it seems like Coach Kapoulas is happy with the looks that his side are getting. It's just that, you see it here on the ball screen, the defender going underneath the screen and getting caught up and just leaving the shooter wide open to knock it down. Yeah, you've got to defend that better as a team. The person setting the screen as well, you need to hedge, make sure you're forcing the point, particularly he's shooting the ball so well as well. So I'm sure that'll be a little disappointing for Coach Kapoulas. So yeah, I'm sure we'll just working together. But he's in that timeout, it looks like he might be expecting a bit of full court pressure as well, talking about an out of bounds play, and here we are. So Coach Kapoulas almost expecting the press to come a little bit. 9 early points for Stanimir Marinov in this game. He's 3 for 3 from behind the 3-point line. Oh, it's stolen away. Oh, Green does well to save it. Ollison driving inside, puts it up, no good, but able to get it to go on the second chance opportunity. And that's where Bristol Flyers are at their best, crashing the offensive glass and finishing those second chance points.
Yeah, certainly if your half-court game isn't particularly working well, or you're not getting good looks, crashing the boards, old school, get down and tough with it and get those putbacks. And Brad Green with a important basket there for the Flyers. Bit of a dry spell.
3-pointer no good that time for Pleven, and Flyers can push in transition. Green. Off with Ollison. Ollison skip pass to Graham Bell, open for 3, knocks it down, and a much needed triple for Rafel Graham Bell, who's coming off a 19-point performance in that win over Plymouth on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a great offense, almost doing what Pleven have been doing as well with their pick and roll, getting wide open shooters, and Rafel Graham Bell doing exactly the same there and able to convert that 3-point opportunity.
Here's Fugit. Looking for Shinokajev, no good for 3. Coach Kapoulas happy with his team's defense on that possession. Trajan Jacob with a mid-range 2. Offensive rebound by Thomas Bell. Graham Bell even. And he will go to the line to shoot too.
Yeah, just trying to work out with Trajan Jacob's shot there. Probably not the shot the Flyers were looking for. A bit of a run there, but again able to get the offensive board, and wow, with the putback, just love to see that drop down. He's frustrated, but good signs being able to get in and amongst the Pleven players on the offensive boards.
Well, Rafel Graham Bell at the line, and of course, we mentioned he had 19 points in that game against Plymouth, and now with him having signed that contract for the rest of the season, how much of a boost will that be for this Bristol Flyers team, do you feel?
Well, it just gives you more consistency, doesn't it? As the player, you want to know that you'll be settled for the season, so I'm sure that will help him in his own game as well. And Coach Kapoulas knows the squad that he's going to have around him as well. So yeah, it just helps to settle everything. And obviously he played for his contract. The opportunity came along, and I'm sure the type of player that he is, he'll want to make up for last season and continue that form throughout.
With that very successful season with the Plymouth City Patriots a couple of years ago, of course signed with the Newcastle Eagles
at the start of last season, but we didn't really get to see him play too much because, of course, he sustained that season-ending injury, and now to see him back playing full strength and playing at his best as well, you know, coming off that big performance on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a remarkable turnaround from having a season off to sort of get to the levels that he was playing at Plymouth. He was a very effective player down in Plymouth. You know, I remember watching a few games, been very impressed. So to have that, you know, season-ending injury and then to come back as strong as he has, you know, full credit to him. You know, putting the work in on the off-season.
Well, they've cut the lead down to 4 here, the Flyers. They trailed by as many as 11 early on in this game. Fugit fires up for 3, knocks it down, and again the threes keep coming for Pleven.
Yeah, they are raining down in Bulgaria right now.
Johnson skips to Jacob. Jacob open for 3, drains the 3, and as you say, yeah, raining threes now at both ends of the court, Gareth.
Yeah, crowd needs some umbrellas. A good spectacle, a good shooting performance from both teams, and you know, getting their eye in and making the most of opportunities. And I think whichever team's going to defend the 3-point line could well have the advantage in this game.
Fugit, no good, and Brad Green grabs the rebound. Ollison for 3 knocks it down, and just like that, Bristol Flyers have narrowed the gap down to just a single point because the threes keep coming.
They're coming in thick and fast, and Bristol Flyers playing some better defense, defending that 3-point line, forcing Pleven to attack the basket, and they're defending the basket really well. Brad Green's there, you know, he's changing shots. Just need to control this 3-point shooting. They've done that the last couple of offenses and they're able to come down themselves and take advantage of Pleven's poor, defense on the 3-point line. So sort of a bit of a role reversal there in the last couple of minutes.
Well, Pleven are shooting 5 for 9 from downtown so far in this game. That's at 55%. The Flyers not far behind at 50% of their own. They're shooting 3 for 6 from beyond the arc, and you feel that whichever team goes cold first could be at a disadvantage here in this one.
Yeah, go cold or step up defensively and make their opposition put the ball on the floor and make them go to the basket and see what happens. Sort of change it up a bit, just try and knock either team out of their rhythm, because those threes are coming and they're coming in rhythm as well. They're not really forced, they're sort of open, good looks. So both teams a little bit of work to do defensively to get that ball on the floor.
Well, this game for the Bristol Flyers is in the middle of a Plymouth City Patriot sandwich. Of course, they played them on Sunday. They travelled to them again on Saturday for a 5 p.m. tip-off, which you can watch over on the British Basketball League YouTube channel. It's the third meeting between the two teams in the last 3 weeks or so. So I'm sure both teams will be very familiar with each other.
Yeah, really solid second half performance from the Flyers. Took a little while to get going, but it's always a tough game down there at Pavilions, and I'm sure the Patriots will be up for another local derby.
Here's Purvis. Full screen card. There's going to be an offensive foul. And how many times have we seen that called in the British Basketball League, Gareth? Yeah,
we used to talk about this last season, that the referees were really clamping down on moving screens there. Don't know if that's the same in the Bulgarian league. I'm not an expert on that, but clearly they're just the push away with the arm. You're not able to do that. Got to stand still, and that player certainly didn't do that, and that's him. Looks like taking a seat.
Yeah, Bryant Thomas ends up taking a seat. It's just his first personal foul though in this game. Here's Keely Johnson, finds Graham Bell. Against Janokajev. Graham Bell's mid-range 2 is no good, but again a second chance opportunity for the Bristol Flyers. And now here's Green to the hole, able to draw the foul. And again, Gareth, you see Flyers crashing the offensive glass. This is much more like the identity that we've seen of a Bristol Flyers team over the last few years in the British Basketball League. Yeah, and it just proves that they can do that in Europe as well. It's very difficult to it's not something you can really scout against. I suppose not a style of X's and O's. It's just about determination of wanting to get to the basket. And just seeing Brad Green there really muscling down his defender. They're able to get to the hoop and getting the foul. So that's good signs as well. Trying to get Brad Green maybe a little bit isolated one-on-one. See if they double team and try and free up some more guys on the perimeter. I think there's a foul called on the holding against Shinokachev, and you see Graham Bell ending up on the floor. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to give us a replay on this one, but I believe it's going to be Flyers ball. Yeah, you see them both getting caught up there, and there's the foul. So it will be Bristol Flyers ball from the baseline. Yeah, just holding his arm there between his arm, just clutching there, and able Graham Bell able to get the offensive board, and the referee right on it. Well, Flyers will factor in the bonus here, so he will send Graham Bell straight to the foul line as he ties it up at 18. Chance of Bristol here to take their first lead of the game in the European North Basketball League. And the crowd seem like they've calmed down a little bit. Obviously got to a good start, and the Flyers have just been able to sort of just cool the atmosphere in the arena there as well. So very good after being sort of down a little bit in that first quarter, able to come back and tie things up. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where, you know, it's their first European game of the season. You're expecting the home fans to be hyped up for it, but to weather that early storm as well, and now to take a 1-point lead here, is a great thing for Bristol. Yeah, and you just don't know. You know, you see these clips of European basketball in Europe, and there's flares and you just don't know what you're going to expect. It doesn't look like it's that type of crowd here, but still, nonetheless, I'm sure they'll be right behind their team, and we wanted them to get the W here in their first game of this league campaign. Here's John Tilfugit. Gordon had nowhere to go there, and 3 has to go out. The ball's into great Gordon, but it's a 24-second violation. And as you say, great defense by the Flyers, and you feel that momentum is well and truly in their favour right now. Yeah, get them to force the ball inside, take away that 3-point shot. They've handled the drives and the post-up play incredibly well. Raf Thomas there was some great help defense right there as the shot clock ended. Hands on the ball. So I think that's going to have to be the way to do it. Just get them to drive, and play good help, solid defense, and take your chances in the paint. Keedy Johnson looking to turn the corner, able to draw the foul. And again, with Flyers in the bonus, they will continue to go to the foul line here for these last 44 seconds or so. Yeah, Keedy just using his explosiveness and pace to get around the defender, and just a little too quick. Good contact, and send him to the line for a pair. Now, Keedy Johnson at the line, able to knock down the first. And Gareth, you've been very impressed with Keedy Johnson so far this season. I know when we've watched Flyers games together down at SGS, you've been really impressed with the way he sort of settled into life in the British Basketball League. Yeah, exactly. It almost feels like he would have fit in well last year as well, the way the guys played last year. Really team orientated. No one's going out to sort of score 50 points or forcing shots. He's just playing his game, taking whatever comes naturally to him. Very athletic player, very smart player, and just sort of taking things as they come, and a real kind of good team player that can certainly contribute on all aspects of the game for the Bristol Flyers. Here's Vutev. Up top to Ivkov. Ivkov with a mid-range 2 and knocks it down. First 2 of the game for Ivkov. Yeah, nice play with that step back, creating a lot of space between the Bristol Flyers defender and able to knock that shot down. Plenty of talent coming off the bench for the Bulgarian side. Shot game clock are almost identical here. There's 5 seconds to go in the first. Thomas Edwards, step back 3, back iron, and that will do it for the end of the first 10 minutes of this one. Flyers, they trail by as many as 11 points and a hot start by Spartak Pleven, but credit to them, they've able to retake the lead and now are on top by 1 after the first 10 minutes. Yeah, they'll be delighted with the way the Bristol Flyers. They started the game well, obviously the first offense of the game, and then Pleven just caught fire from beyond the arc and put some serious distance here. Really good ball movement, getting the shooters open. Bristol Flyers have adjusted. They've taken away that shot, made it more difficult, getting the Pleven to the ball on the floor, and able to pick up some sort of turnovers and some steals and some shot clock violations. So forcing bad shots, and Bristol Flyers have a little purple patch of their own from beyond the arc. Well, Stanimir Marinov leads the way with 9 points so far in this game for the hosts. Meanwhile, for the Flyers, they're led by 7 points by Rafel Graham Bell, and he's done well to get to the free throw line as well. He's 4 for 4 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, that's great, to see that. It's been a part of the troubles over the years with Bristol Flyers of free throw shooting, and I think they're shooting really well for the season so far. And likes of Graham Bell, who can create opportunities for himself to get to the free throw line and to execute from the line is very good signs.
We've spoken about how big this Pleven team is coming into this game, and Flyers, they've done well to crash the offensive glass early on in this first quarter as well. Yeah, you don't really feel that they're playing much to their height advantage. Clearly they're a team that like to shoot the ball, create, use the bigs for screens, and that's what's getting the shooters open. So it kind of looks like they use them more in that fashion rather than looking for big mismatches or playing two bigs, looking for height advantage. So it looks that's the way they like to play. Well, it is a 1 point lead for the Bristol Flyers after the first 10 minutes. And I'm sure Coach Kapoulas will certainly be happy with that. Of course, this is the Flyers' first ever European game in the European North Basketball League, and what a special moment it will be for this club if they can find a way to pick up a win here in Pleven. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the league coming to the SGS Wise campus as well. Exciting times, and I'm sure the faithful Bristol Flyers fans will be out in full voice. So can't wait for that one. Well, the first game for Flyers is on Halloween night. It's against Utenos Juventus from Lithuania, and tickets are selling fast for that game over at bristolflyers.co.uk, so do head to the website to grab yours now to be first to watch the Flyers play their first European game at the SGS College Arena. Oh, it's stolen away by Leslie Smith. Good start to the second quarter for the Flyers, and he's able to draw a foul, which will send him to the line to shoot two.
I do like the way that the Flyers are, being aggressive, getting to the basket. It doesn't seem like Pleven have got much of an answer to that. I'm not seeing particularly good defence. They have reached in a few times, getting into foul trouble in the first quarter. So that'll be something Coach Kapoulas will be noting as well. Attacking the basket seems to be bearing fruit.
Leslie Smith, he's played extended minutes this season, of course, with the injury to... there you see some Flyers fans in the house.
Great effort that, going away and behind the basket. You can just see them there, but fair play. Well done.
A long journey to Pleven. Great to see the travelling support, and obviously making the coverage here on Flyers TV.
Exactly, and very much deserved as well, with the pink T-shirts on, standing out.
It's going to be a lane violation there, I believe. Ball into Leslie Smith. It's just cut out, but able to stick with it. Leslie Smith running point guard here. It's going to be a foul on the handoff, and that's going to be called on Ivko Ivkov. Just his first personal foul, though. See, you're just playing the passing lane a little bit too much, and that's what can happen when you overplay the handoff like that. Here's Smith, hands off with Lucas. Lucas splitting the D. Corey Samuels open for three. He's short, and it's rebounded by Gordon. Gordon, top of the three-point line, hands off to Stoyanov. Now here's Fugit. Vutev kicks it out. Corner three ball on the way, and Stoyanov drains it. And Pleven just picking up where they left off in that first quarter with their hot shooting from downtown.
Yeah, put the ball on the floor, just able to create some space wide open in that corner for that three-pointer. Nothing but net, and that's the style of play they want to continue with. Causing those sort of mismatches, causing that confusion, helping too much, and then kicking it out.
And that was an offensive foul called against Leslie Smith. I've seen that a couple of times. You hear the fans starting to make some noise here in Pleven. Fugit hands off with Ivkov. Back to Fugit at the top of the three-point line. Three-pointer, corner 3 ball. This time is long, and the rebound is gobbled up by Leslie Smith. Lucas driving inside. What a move from Lucas, but can't convert. Thomas Edwards grabs the rebound, ends up on the deck, and it's stolen away by Pleven.
Actually, that's not a bad foul in transition as well. They're just slowing that one down. Had numbers.
There you see it just slipped away from Thomas Edwards and did well to dive on the loose ball, but then you see Leslie Smith picking up the foul. And that's one of those ones that can easily be called as an unsportsmanlike foul. Essentially, it's the rule essentially is if it's the last player going back on the defensive end, then it's an unsportsmanlike foul. And it has to be a play on the ball as well.
Another offensive foul there on the screen. Just a bit too physical. Just leant into it a little bit, and Lucas feeling the full force of that screen there. He's fine, shaking it off, and picked up a valuable turnover for his team.
I've seen a couple of offensive fouls go both ways so far in this game. Here's Corey Samuels. And how special a moment is this, Gareth, seeing a Bristol-born player coming through the academy, now playing his first game on the European stage.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Corey, been through the SGS, been through the club from a very young age, and to see him how they're playing European basketball, it sends a great message to young British Bristolian boys and girls, that it can be done, and he's a prime example, of course. We haven't really seen anyone apart from Greg Street, of course, and Josh Rogers that have come through the whole academy system, and to see Corey playing European basketball, I'm sure he's got very proud parents at home.
Well, I thought about the mid-range too, but exchanges it for a 3, and Ivkov no good that time from downtown. Lucas, screen comes from Green. Green inside, the turnaround hook shot knocks it down.
That's beautiful footwork there. Definitely appreciate. I love the big.
Yeah,
I just love the big man moves. He's got such good footwork. Just that pivot around, just feeling the defender on his back, and able to give himself a bit of space with that hook shot. So. It might not be as glamorous as 3-point shoot, but just to see the fundamental there, a big fan of Brad Green, as you could probably tell.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a former big man yourself, you certainly the big man's union out there. Yeah. You appreciate the fancy footwork inside and the soft touch.
Yeah, really good fundamental skills.
Well, here's Toshkov, fires up for 3 and drains it. And again, Spartak Pleven retake the lead. Tijon Lucas. Screen from Green. He's rolling to the basket. Thomas Edwards now top, finds Samuels. Looking inside for Green, and it's stolen away by Pleven. Baseline drive is... there's going to be a foul on the baseline drive. I think it's going to be called on Samuels.
Yeah, certainly look for that corner shot, don't they? Pleven look to move it around. Players are pretty much stationary as the 3 sort of perimeter players, the one big inside, look to move it, screen, and they quite often find themselves a bit of room, and this time opting to drive rather than shoot it, and then picking up Corey Samuels, unable to get in front, and picks up a foul.
Well, it's going to send Ivkov to the line. 27-year-old, now 4th season with Spartak Pleven, and this is a team that does well to retain their core each and every year. You see a lot of Bulgarian players coming back, and they've got plenty of former junior Bulgarian internationals on their team as well, and a couple of seniors too.
Yeah, it does seem, just reading some notes before the game, they really have a good production line of young talent. Must look after their players to retain them, as you rightly said, and then sort of throw in the mix a few import players just to sort of help with that sort of style that you might want to play with. But obviously that's kind of what every club want to have. Your own products coming through that can play at that level, and then complement those players with your imports.
Well, Tijon Lucas was able to get that layup to go. A bit of full court pressure now being shown by the Flyers.
I think it's a very good call, that as well. Just knock Pleven out of their sort of half-court set, maybe try and rush a little bit rather than running through and getting these corner threes.
Almost stolen away by Ollison. Here's Marinov looking for Vutev inside now. The hook shot is no good and it's gobbled up by Green. Flyers can retake the lead here with a bucket, and Green puts it up and Green puts it in. A pair of back-to-back scores from the big fella gives Flyers a 1-point lead.
Yeah, great passing. He took his time. Saw the defender there, drop step a little bit, uses his shoulder to protect the basketball. Took his time, able to put that one away.
Thomas fires up for three, back iron. Rebound falls to Keedy Johnson. Johnson for three, drains the three. And again, the Flyers are firing from all cylinders from downtown. And Keedy Johnson, his first triple of the game.
Yeah, and that's a big confidence move as well, be able to dribble out, take that 3-point shot. And I think that's where Flyers, for me, have got a slight advantage at the moment, is they've got that inside and outside presence, where Pleven are more perimeter at the moment.
Wow. Graham Bell continues to lead the way for Bristol with 7 points so far in this game. Stanimir Marinov still is the game's leading scorer with 9, but of course all 3 of those were scored in the opening quarter alone. And you look at the 3-point percentages right now. I mean, Pleven, they're shooting at 50%. The Flyers have dropped down to 44% on that last made 3-pointer.
Still a very, very healthy. I think you would definitely, if you're going to shoot 44% for the game,
say,
I think you'd be very, very happy with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking at Pleven, they've shot 14 threes, so a lot of their offense coming to the Flyers 9. So, certainly they would like to approach games as for that perimeter shot.
And I guess that's one of those ones, because we spoke about how tall this Pleven team is earlier in the coverage, but it's almost pick your poison. If you overplay the 3, it gives all the space for the bigs to do their work inside. If you sit back like the Flyers are doing right now, it opens up the 3.
Yeah, I would say, looking at the team so far, that their outside threat poses more of a threat than their inside presence right now. There's nothing I've seen so far where they've had a big post up Brad or anyone like that. They are looking for that perimeter shot. So I feel that you can overplay a little bit on the outside and make them put the ball on the floor, look for post up play.
I'm sure it'll be an adjustment that Coach K's side will look to make as we approach the midway point of the second. Purvis fires up for 3. No good that time, but an offensive rebound is gathered in and is blocked by the Flyers. Here's Johnson the other way. Ollison on the wing. Lucas spins in the lane. Tijon Lucas, can't finish. But another offensive rebound for Brad Green, and again, Green puts it in for 2.
Yeah, that hook from a bit of distance. They've really struggled, Spartak Pleven, dealing with Brad Green inside. They obviously haven't done the scout report on him, because he seems to be having himself a game right now.
8 points, 4 rebounds so far for Green in this game.
That's good help defense as well. Sorry, Joel, just being aware of that baseline drive. 2 Bristol Flyers players there, hands straight up. And the Pleven player just throwing it straight into the arms of Raf Thomas Edwards.
Great hustle by Ollison. And now Lucas is open in transition, puts it up and in. And he flexes on him back on defense.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter, is it, Lucas? The amount of times we see him make those difficult, go very direct, little bit of a Euro step, just change direction, just finishes incredibly strong. That's certainly, we're seeing a lot of Lucas playing that style of play.
Well, Bristol have opened up their biggest lead of the game so far, as Pleven look to respond the other way with a 3, but can't convert from deep. Johnson. Ball into Green. Green fakes it, and Green makes it. Bristol Flyers have stretched the lead out to 10.
Yeah, playing really well. Pleven don't really have an answer inside.
Well, they've outscored Pleven 12 points to 2 so far in this second quarter. Just a single made field goal. 12 points to 7 even, my live stats just updated. And there you see Ollison taking the contact on the replay.
It's always difficult, that one, because the player, you've been set and the player just kind of takes that side step and you sort of hit the side of the defensive player, but he was kind of set in that position. It's always a difficult, kind of frustrating call for the defender, because you kind of did sort of hold your ground, if you like.
Yeah, that block versus charge debate in basketball, I mean, it's always, open to opinion most of the time, but see there, Ollison looked like he had defensive position.
Yeah.
But blocking foul has been called on him.
As the player just kind of changes his direction, you just clip the outside. So it does look like it's more of a blocking foul rather than if it was sort of straight on at his chest.
Purvis. Fugit kicks it out, corner 3 ball, knocks it down. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Spartak Pleven.
Yeah, they'll continue sort of running that play, won't they, to try and get those corner shots.
And Brad Green again just easily cleans up on the glass. He's now got 10 points to go along with his 5 rebounds. Fugit. Ball inside. Gordon backing down. Tough matchup with Green on him, but somehow able to get it to go off the glass.
Yeah, tough move. It's the first kind of real post-up move we've seen there, and that was a good, strong finish over Green.
Andrew Gordon, his first field goal of the game for the 6'10" big man. Ollison coming off the screen by Green. Ollison fakes it, puts it up, and beats the clock with the buzzer beater.
Really nice move, the way he just kept his composure, that sort of up and under, bring the ball under his head, just stepping through, and then able to have the composed finish on the buzzer as well.
Marinov drives past Ollison, kicks it out for a corner 3 ball, which is way off the mark, and Green with his 6th rebound of the game. Lucas. Screen comes from Brad Green. Again, working that 2-man game, the Flyers. Nice pass from Green, but well cut out by Pleven. And Raf Thomas Edwards ends up turning it over.
Yeah, interesting, John, that last play. The double team there for Brad Green. He's obviously commanding that double team now. So, the Pleven coach making a couple of adjustments, which you hope will free up a few more opportunities from the perimeter. But recognising that Brad Green is pretty much having his way in the post right now.
Well, it's a 9-point lead for the Bristol Flyers with a minute and change to go in the first half. And Green does well to get his hand on it, but only to the hands of Fugit. Fugit, guarded by Johnson. Oh, what a shot from Jontil Fugit. Drains it for 3.
Sorry, Joe, what a tough move that was. I mean, that's certainly got the crowd up on their feet. Great individual talent there, a few crossovers, then the shot from beyond the arc. Tough move.
Johnson driving left, no good that time. Again, another offensive rebound by the Flyers, and this time, no mistakes as Keedy Johnson gets it off the glass. Ball screen comes from Shinokajev. Fugit. 5 on the shot clock here. Screen comes from Gordon, and Keedy Johnson's taken a heavy one there. Flyers will get the last possession of the first half. Nice pass into Green. It's going to be a goaltend, and the basket will count. And Bristol Flyers able to extend the lead to 10 with just under 6 seconds to go.
Yeah, normally you'd try and say play for the last shot, but it's such an open shot. It's you can't turn that down, and yeah, with the big goaltend there.
3 seconds to go here. So last touch by the Flyers. The clock's been wound down to 1.1. And don't forget, they do have video review here in the ENBL as well. We haven't seen it yet in this game so far, but both coaches have the opportunity to challenge a call. Just over a second to go in the first half. Ball into Gordon. Gordon for three, knocks it down on a buzzer. And that is exactly what Spartak Pleven needed, because there was a risk of this game running away from them, but Andrew Gordon knocks down the three as the clock expires, and that certainly gives their fans something to cheer about going into the half-time break.
Yeah, exactly, and you sort of think back to the last play with the Bristol Flyers with the long pass and the two. You could debate that all day long, whether you hold out for the last place, you don't, you know. I mean, that was worst case scenario, wasn't it, to get that three on the buzzer? You're always kind of going to take the easy two, and that was a tough three for them. But as you said, be buoyed a little bit now going into the half-time break.
And Gareth, which coach do you think will be most pleased with their side at the end of this first half? Because, of course, Flyers, they trailed by double figures, but done well to come back into this game and take a lead of their own.
I think, you know, Coach Kapoulas will be incredibly happy the way his team are playing right now, and there's certainly a way, you know, for them to sort of make a few adjustments as well. So yeah, to get their first taste of European basketball, to be leading the game, to be playing some good basketball inside outside, you know, he'll be delighted. But it's only half a game.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Gareth. Well, we have reached the halfway point at the Zala Balkanstroj. It's Bristol Flyers that have the 41 to 35 lead at the half. We're going to take a quick break, but do join us after the break as we're back to break down all the action from the first half.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
Good.
Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Ayy, cause I dance hard like I'm on my tiptoes. Baby, you think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ain't where the money at. Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but don't mess up the mood.
Thatcher's Farm. Slightly obsessed perfectionists making cider with nothing but love. As you do. I mean, why grow 8 varieties of apple when you can grow 458? The apple spa. Because happy apples make better cider, obviously. Here comes the man himself, Martin Thatcher. Friday, 12:30, tasting time. It needs to hit the spot or not a drop will leave the farm. Yes! And that's why Thatcher's cider tastes the way it does. Perfect.
Welcome back to our ENBL coverage here on Flyers TV for the opening game between Bristol Flyers and BC Spartak Pleven. I'm joined by former Flyers captain Gareth Till here in the studio. And Gareth, just a moment to decompress after that first half because the lead swang both ways. Both teams led by as many as double digits. Initial thoughts on that first 20 minutes or so?
No, I've been thoroughly impressed with the Bristol Flyers. You know, it could have been quite easy to let the game get on top of them. But as we've seen over the years, you know, Coach Kapoulas installs that fighting spirit and they really came back. And then, for me, really kind of had a good hold of the game, good playing inside, outside basketball, you know, mixing up a little bit. So yeah, I think I'd be delighted with the first half of that game. There's a long way to go yet, but yeah, really impressive what I've seen so far from the Bristol Flyers.
And just a word on the three-point shooting as well, because both teams are shooting well above 40%. I mean, the Flyers right now are 4 for 9 from downtown, shooting 44% from three, and the Spartak Pleven, they're shooting 50%. They're 10 for 20.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you kind of you know, the style of play. You know, 20 3-point shot in the first half. So you know, there's a saying, you know, live by the three, die by the three, and they certainly look like a team that are going to keep firing those 3-point shots up, and they can either, you know, break the game wide open or sort of go down shooting. So Flyers able to mix it up again. Really impressed with that inside-outside game. Brad Green really, you know, dominating inside, you know, forcing the double team towards the end there. So a really well-rounded performance from the Bristol Flyers.
Well, let's have a look at some of the Pleven highlights from the first half. And as you say, they really raced out the blocks in the opening quarter. And Stanimir Marinov had 9 of his 12 points in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, you just see the way they sort of sat up. They spread the floor really well. They got the 2 shooters in the corner, play a little bit on the top hip perimeter, moving that ball quickly around. You can see here, you know, players wide open there. As it just gives the point guard options to find shooters in the corner and on the wings.
Is that something that Bristol, you feel, maybe look to adjust in the second half? Because we spoke about how big the Pleven team were, and obviously you see here just sagging under the ball screens, just trying to protect the basket, but with them knocking down the 3-point field goal at such a high percentage, you like to think maybe Coach Kapoulas will stretch the floor a little bit more on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to take a more of a risk defensively and play sort of more man-to-man rather than offering help. You know, it's great to offer help if, you know, teams are driving, attacking the basket. You want to try and make that difficult, but this team look very comfortable. This is their style of play. They like to spread the floor. They know what's coming. They look to go to the wings. So you know, you might have to get that point where you're just not going to be able to offer that much help and take your chances one-on-one in and around the basket.
And Stanimir Marinov with 12 points so far to lead the way, the Bulgarian international. He is 4 for 4 from downtown. Of course, that was epitomised by that buzzer beater to go into the halfway point. And what kind of momentum do you feel that play will have in particular? You know, they beat the buzzer to go into the halfway point. What kind of momentum will that have?
Yeah, I mean, it'll give them a little boost, but I think both teams will be quite happy. You know, there won't be sort of too many bad words, I don't think, in the halftime changing from either coach. Some adjustments certainly. You know, I think for them, you know, dealing with Brad Green inside is going to be a bit of a problem, and obviously for Flyers, just trying to sort of get them to put the ball on the floor a little bit, take away this perimeter shooting.
Well, here's a look at the Flyers' key plays from that first half, and we spoke about the hot shooting from downtown, but Brad Green with 14 points and 6 assists. I can imagine that only just creates even more space for the shooters from outside. Yeah,
definitely. As we said, you know, towards the end there, they were throwing 2 players at Brad Green, so that's just going to open up, you know, for the Flyers guards, you know, driving to the basket or getting open for shots. So yeah, he's causing real problem in there for the Bulgarian team.
It's been real balanced scoring for the Flyers as well. I mean, you look down the stat sheet, Keely Johnson has 9 points and 5 rebounds at the half. Graham Bell with 7 points. He's done well to get to the free throw line. And Tevin Olison has 7 points of his own as well. So it's not just Brad Green, but the supporting cast as well really stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really sort of team orientated, players over this. You can tell that straight away. They understand, what they're trying to do as a team. They've got to win it as a team. You can't win it as individuals, and that's why Coach Kapoulas has brought them into the team to sort of be a cohesive unit and to get sort of scorers across the whole team. Just makes it more difficult for teams to defend.
Well, let's take a look at the stats at the halfway point, and we've spoken about just how well both teams are shooting the three, but what else stands out the stat sheet for you there, Gareth?
Yeah, good rebounding percentages for Bristol Flyers. One stat that's not on there, which I looked on the stats online, is points in the paint, and Bristol Flyers really sort of dominating that score chart as well, 22-2. Which is a huge stat, and fast break points as well. Flyers getting a 10-0 advantage on there, so really mixing up the way of playing. And Pleven clearly like to go for the perimeter shots, and that's the way they're going to play. So good rounded performance from Bristol.
Great stuff. Well, there's been some great plays in this game so far, but there's also been great plays in the month of September. Let's take a look back at the top 5 plays of the month.
So, and early turnover here, which is not a good sign for Newcastle.
Well, good job of converting the turnovers into transition points, and already Tevin Allison going in with a two-handed rim rocker. Oh, good start there for the Eagles. Flyers up for the time now. Spin the defense going all the way and just punishing with a coast-to-coast move. And Mark Studo's going to be infuriated with his team's transition defense.
Here come the Flyers.
Stolen by Trajan Jacob, and it's showtime for Trajan Jacob as he jams it in on the fast break. Stolen again by Jacob, and TJ with a two-handed flush. Pair of back-to-back dunks.
Well, turning it over now. Graham Bell going in and throwing it down with no regard for the transition defense of the Newcastle Eagles. And welcome back to the British Basketball League, Graham Bell. And look what it means to that man.
Graham Bell looking pretty healthy to me. Fast break, take off, and a powerful dunk finish.
Taking this one inbound now. Pump fakes, puts up the three. Three is up. Counted, and it's good. Well, that is the dire moments in the first quarter. But ladies and gentlemen, but what a three-pointer that was.
Is watching basketball at 3 in the morning enough? No, of course not. So you always wanted to be part of the team. Your own basketball club. In your own backyard. What if I said you could? ENBL. 9 European countries, 15 pro teams, 60 games a season. The fastest growing basketball league in Europe. In the arena, on TV, or streaming live on your phone. Reach out to us and join the ENBL family. ENBL, right here in your backyard.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Ayy, cause I head tired like I'm on my tiptoes. Baby, you think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ayy, where the money at? Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but throw myself the mood.
Thatcher's Farm. Slightly obsessed perfectionists making cider with nothing but love. As you do. I mean, why grow 8 varieties of apple when you can grow 458? The Apple Spa. Because happy apples make better cider, obviously. Here comes the man himself, Martin Thatcher. Friday, 12:30, tasting time. It needs to hit the spot or not a drop will leave the farm. Yes! And that's why Thatcher's cider tastes the way it does. Perfect.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
Good.
Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And then you would get more and more adventurous.
Our Flyers TV coverage. The second half is officially underway as Lucas drives baseline. And Brad Green feeds it to Ollison. Ollison for 3, and it's the perfect start to the second half for Bristol.
Yeah, again, a bit of composure running through the offense. And Ollison with that trademark 3 strings it, and that's a great start coming out of the locker room.
That cancels out the 3 that they put in on the buzzer to end the first half as it's blocked by Green. And Lucas pushing in transition. It's a Euro step. Layup, but no good, and last touched by Pleven. You see here Lucas just pushing in transition and
just a little bit more off balance there. You can see he was sort of going down on the deck, and able to get that one to go. Aggressive play.
Well, if you just joined us, Flyers are leading this one by 10 to start the second half. They trailed 12 points to 4 early on in this game. They shot the lights out from behind the 3-point line, and you can see here the officials are just going to have a look at this one.
Do you think Coach Kapoulas used his review to look at the foul, perhaps?
Yeah, it could be looking for a foul potentially in here, so they're going to watch this clip back. I'm not sure if we can actually watch it ourselves on the monitor here, but they're going to review that play to see whether or not there could have been a foul inside, because the officials called no foul and a baseline out of bounds. So
yeah, I don't know what I mean, I don't know how long can they go back. Could it be a foot on the 3-point line from something like in the first shot? Yeah, something we're learning out about as well as we go along, and obviously we don't quite know what they're reviewing right now.
But this is something that the game's been calling out for. We've seen it a lot in like the NBA with the replay centre, the British Basketball League. You know, they've talked about they want to eventually have video review.
Oh, it looks like they were calling.
Oh, they're debating who it last touched the guy out of bounds. So it looks like it came. I mean, from that, it looks like it came off of a Pleven player.
Yeah,
which the referee seemed to agree, but Flyers just turn it over on the inbounds play.
Disaster. Managed to get it turned over and then just chuck it away. Dear oh dear. Still time to concentrate, play some D, get it back.
Purvis, guarded by Johnson. Looking outside for Wes Gordon in the paint, and trouble. He travelled or stepped on the line there, and it will go back to Bristol Flyers. Lucas. Ball screen comes from Green. Green at the top of the 3-point line, almost stolen away by Purvis, but Keely Johnson will fire for 3 and gets fouled on the 3-point field goal attempt. So 3 free throws coming up for Johnson. Again, that's the second time we've seen the foul on a 3-point shot in this game.
And that thing with, you see the landing space there, and that's something that the officials have really tried to clamp down on this season, is although there wasn't necessarily contact, it's creating an unsafe landing space by moving the feet underneath Keely's landing spot.
Yeah, exactly. And all basketball players will know about rolling your ankles and things like that, and just someone stepping underneath you are aware of that, of how you're going to land, probably more than you can concentrate on the shot, which is why that was brought in, because you know the last thing you want to do is step on someone's foot and go over on your ankle.
Yeah, as I say, that is something they are really clamping down on this season. Keely Johnson knocks it in. The Flyers with their biggest lead of the game here. Tojkov finds it top to, well, back to Marinov now. Marinov fakes the three. Shinokajev drains the three.
The only slight criticism there was Rafel Graham-Bell, who just sort of didn't have a hand up on the shooter, gave him a good look at the basket and able to knock that one down. So certainly sort of hands up, try and make it difficult against this really good shooting team.
Stolen away by Pleven. And could this be the spot that they need to get back into this game? Marinov fakes the three. Zhinokajev again for three, this time is short. And the rebound gathered in by Ollison. Graham-Bell will fire up from downtown and drains it.
Yeah, answers back. He had one defensively then, but just for a big guy, he got such a good shooting ability. Just seems so relaxed shooting the ball.
Tojkov looking inside to Gordon. It's blocked by Green. And the foul is called against Tojkov. But Brad Green, his third block of the game in this third quarter so far.
Yeah, he just plays so well, just straight up as well. Doesn't sort of reach or kind of go too aggressive, just gets his hand up. Or just to knock that one away. And yeah, it's been a troubling night. For the opposition there, Brad Green doing it both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's certainly had a great game so far tonight. 14.6 rebounds and now 3 blocks as well. Flyers on top by 13. It matches their biggest lead of the game. Ollison open for 3. No good that time. Rebound gathered in by Pleven. Here's John Till-Fugit. Thomas top to Purvis. Now Fugit once again. It's going to be an offensive foul. And Tijon Lucas, great defense. Just to take the contact, able to move his feet quickly as well.
Yeah, that's good defensive stance there. Yeah, offensively you just can't throw your arm out and try and create yourself a little bit of space like that. And referee right on it. I think the referees have had a really good game so far. Give them credit. Nothing too controversial. Everything seems to be the right call.
Johnson top to Green. Graham-Bell thought about the 3, but will pull up for a mid-range 2. Too much on that one. Purvis will come the other way. Nice spin move. Purvis puts it up, but able to draw the foul. A pair of free throws coming up now for him.
Yeah, you don't mind that. Just making it difficult. Earn the points from the. I mean, there's quite good defense there as well. Sort of straight up. Maybe we just didn't get quite there, and I'm sure he's probably just chatting to the referee there. So, well, you know, tell me what happened. Why did I get called the foul? Because he looked pretty straight there. Maybe just not set.
Well, Rodney Purvis at the line. He did sign a 10-day contract with the Orlando Magic back in 2018. Bounced around a couple of NBA teams, including Oklahoma City Thunder and the Celtics, before dropping down to the G League and playing with the Sioux Force Skyforce as well.
Wow.
So he certainly comes with a decorated resume. Here's Graham-Bell. finds Jacob. Oh, Jacob had him on skates. And short on the 3 that time, but an offensive rebound secured by Green, and he can't finish either. And now Pleven will go the other way. Marinov for 3. No good that time, and that's his first 3-point miss of the game.
Yeah, it was rattled in and out as well, didn't it? Had a good think about it. From Flyers' point of view, good news that it didn't get knocked down. But yeah, it's a loose pass.
Away. Brad Green does well to save it. And Green, open in transition, floats it in. And Brad Green playing a bit of point guard out there, Gareth.
Yeah, and you do not want to be taking a charge when you see a 6'10", goodness knows how heavy, just charging at you like that. That's not one you want to put your body on the line for, I don't think.
Well, definitely a smart move on the defensive end there. Purvis lobbed up and jammed in by Thomas. And could that be the spark that Pleven need to go on a run?
Yeah, mixing it up a little bit there, going inside that pick and roll, lobbing it in there. Not seen too much of that action so far.
Ball into Green. Green floats it up and in. And Brad Green just continuing to punish the Pleven defense. Now up to 18 points on the night.
Of course, Green played in... Where did he where did he play last year?
He played in Austria last season.
Yeah.
He played the same team that a lot of British Basketball League fans will know, the team that Darian Nelson-Henry came from, the Kaffenberg Bulls. And Brad Green, of course, played there last year as well. And they did play European basketball in the Adriatic Cup, which is a very similar league to the European North Basketball League. We spoke to Brad Green when he signed with the Flyers. He said he sees the ENBL as a step up from the Adriatic Cup, so that was one of the big reasons for him wanting to join the club.
So he seems very sort of comfortable with this style of basketball.
Well, it certainly does suit his size, doesn't it?
It does.
And we've seen him adjust to life in the British Basketball League, but it does seem this European style of game does favour him more here. Now, Thomas Edwards tries to chase it from going out of bounds. And the Flyers have a 14-point lead midway through the 3rd. You see it there, last coming off of a Spartak Pleven player. I think they were just... Well, they were trying to see whose possession it was, but they have given it to the Flyers. Graham Bell tries middle, and last touch by Pleven. I think you heard Graham Bell's reaction to it there.
Yeah, good hands, just to knock it away. You can have a better look at it here. Oh yeah, I mean
it could have been easily a foul called in there.
I think the defender even had his hand on his way up then to sort of call himself with a foul then by the looks of it. So probably relieved that it didn't get called and blew the layup there on the fast break.
I was going to say, stolen by Pleven and then just can't convert on the offensive end. The Flyers have outscored Pleven 13 points to 6 so far in the 3rd. Jacob going downhill. No good that time on the layup. It's great defense by Spartak Pleven. That surely has to be a double dribble, yeah. It's going to be a 3-pointer though, and they drain it. Triple is good for Nikolai Stoyanov. And you hear the fans really enjoying that one as well, Gareth.
Yeah, a few sort of plays not going the Flyers' way there, and managed to get a call there, which is good.
Keely Johnson doing well to draw the contact, and he's been one of the best players in the British Basketball League this season at having trips to the free throw line. I think he's up there in the top 5 this season, and it's plays like that where having the savvy to know when the contact's coming and just put up a shot.
Exactly, you call it right there, Joel. Just knows where to get his body, position it, just get that bit of contact. You know, you can see the player, the corner of his eye, just step in front of him. You know the player at that pace is going to make contact with you. Get yourself to the basket, going strong. Finds himself for another trip to the free throw line.
Well, of course, this is the second of 3 games for the Bristol Flyers this week. They had Plymouth City Patriots away from home on Sunday. They're out here tonight in Pleven, and then they're back down to the pavilions this Saturday. So the team will leave Bulgaria tomorrow, and they'll then head down to Plymouth. And the schedule, it doesn't stop, Gareth. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this Bristol team, I know it's only 7 games in the European North Basketball League, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of impact that will have, or that could have, on their British Basketball League season. Yeah, it's a good transition, isn't it, to kind of get a feel for, how many players you might need with European competition. Can a squad Bristol have got, can that cope with European fixtures? Well, it's good things to kind of figure out. Some down Christian Cunningham from the start of the season, but obviously replaced by Rafel Graham Bell. But you just kind of you just hope everyone stays fit and healthy. It's going to be a long season, as you said. And it's all about when I spoke to Coach Kapoulas about entering the European North Basketball League, it's a learning experience both on the court, it's a learning experience for the club off the court. They're learning what it needs to be to have these midweek games, to host midweek games, and for the backroom staff, it's learning what it takes to sell midweek games at the SGS College Arena as well. So for every different department, both on and off the court, it's a learning experience. And development leagues like this in Europe, like the ENBL, the Adriatic Cup, for example, the perfect opportunity to see and test what it takes to compete at this level. Yeah, that's right. And without having, good to test it without having a massive budget, I'm sure, like European competitions, the likes of London Live, we know the sort of playing budgets and the players they've got in. So it is a little taster, isn't it, just to kind of work your way in at kind of something that's more manageable than having sort of that sort of type of bigger investment for those type of players. Well, the Flyers' first home game in the European North Basketball League is on Halloween night. There's October 31st, Tuesday night action at the SGS College Arena against Utenos Juventus from Lithuania. If you're watching this game and you want to come down and watch European basketball at SGS, you can still get tickets over at bristolflyers.co.uk. Just a little careless now, just need to tidy things up a little bit. The Bristol Flyers, they've got themselves an 11-point lead, but want to take care of the ball, take care of those turnovers, and try and get yourself back into some sort of rhythm. You feel both of these teams have just started to slow things down in this third quarter. Purvis. This is Ivkov. Step back three. Back iron that time. And the long rebound chased down by Leslie Smith. Ollison to the hole. Puts it up. Adjusts in mid-air, but Leslie Smith on the follow. And he'll get a line to shoot 2 shots. Yeah, and there's that trusty offensive rebound. Leslie Smith grabbing that one. Gets another look at it. But Tevin Ollison really attacking the basket. Well, just unable to get it to drop. Leslie Smith being boxed out, but still able to grab it. And then the hack and send him to the line. Well, there's a lot of debate last year, Gareth, around, in the British Basketball League, around the Bristol Flyers and their style of play around offensive rebounds and second chance points. And today they have 10 offensive rebounds for 10 second chance points. So not a bad return on the offensive rebounds, but I'm sure plenty of room to improve there. Well, exactly. Obviously you get offensive rebounds because you're missing shots, but every team misses shots. So to have that as a secondary sort of style of play, to grab it and get after it, I mean, why not? It is all about individual determination to get after it, and it makes a big difference if you're struggling to get looks offensively. Oh, it's stolen away by Ivkov, and he puts it in for 2. Now Pleven are down to 10 with just under 12 minutes to go in this game. Lucas calling for the screen from Leslie Smith. Lucas turns the corner. Smith's open for 3. Fires up from downtown and drains it. And we've seen that ability from Leslie Smith to knock down the open 3. Of course, he had those few years with Bristol back from 2016. And as you say, that was a big part of his game then back in the day. Yeah, he's certainly not shy. If he feels he's wide open like that, he's got the ability to knock those down. So, if you're not going to respect that 3 and he gets a good look at it, then
very comfortable knocking that one down, and seeing a big man step out and knock down a three. Coach here for Pleven calling a timeout. Let's see what he can do, but yeah, certainly when you can shoot and you're big, it stretches the floor even more.
And if you coach Kapoulas, you've got that lead now going into the 11 minutes or so, last 11 minutes of this game or so. What are you saying to your side? You're away from home, it's the first European game. They have it right there in their hands to take the win.
You've got to be fully concentrated, especially with a really good three-point shooting team. That lead can come down very, very quickly on a hot run. So really, this game isn't done. It's a long way from being done. They're certainly capable, Pleven, of coming back into this game if they get going from the perimeter. So you've got to be concentrated on defense.
Here's a look at that three again from Leslie Smith, and a good game for Smith so far tonight. 5 points, 3 rebounds, and just 6 minutes off the bench. As you say, he's had those extended minutes since the injury to Christian Cunningham as well, and doing exactly what Coach K needs him to do out there on the court with the minutes he's getting. Yeah,
it's great to see him back last year. He retired from basketball, and then Coach K gave him the call, and he had a chat to him about coming back to Bristol, and came out of retirement and was part of an excellent team last year, coming off the bench, playing some important minutes, and just carrying on this season as well with that bit more experience for these new guys that joined the team.
Well, Fugit no good on the layup, and here comes Lucas the other way. 3-pointer off the mark by Ollison for the Flyers. Pleven pushing in transition, and they're able to get the transition layup to go as Stoyanov puts it in off the glass.
Yeah, it's a tough move by Stoyanov. They're just wrapping around Leslie Smith there with that extended arm off the glass.
Put it down to 11 as Tevin Ollison going back door, puts it up and in. And that's way too easy for the Bristol Flyers offense.
Yeah, talk about Leslie Smith. He loves a little assist as well from the top there, doesn't he? I've seen him make some great passes over the last couple of seasons, and has a good court awareness and kind of leads a player to where they should be and able to catch it there, Ollison, and finish.
Final few seconds of the third. Here's Jontil Fugit. Kicks it out. 3-pointer on the way on the wing, and that will do it. I think the basket. Will the basket count? I don't think the basket will count there. I think they heard the buzzer go before the ball left his hands. But that will do it for the end of the third quarter. And Gareth, the game is in the hands for Bristol Flyers to take. And as you say, 10 minutes of concentration now, super, super important for Coach Kapoulas' side.
Yeah, the game's certainly not done, and this team are certainly capable of shooting the ball. We saw in the first quarter that if they start getting comfortable shooting the ball, spreading the floor, they can pull that back in a hurry. So yeah, full concentration needed from the Bristol Flyers. But offensively, Brad Green had a bit of a rest there as well. I noticed, maybe offensively the output wasn't quite as good with Green on the bench, but he's going to come back in the game, and yeah, he's been a thorn in the side all game for Pleven.
18 points, 7 rebounds for Brad Green. He's 9 for 11 from the field, so getting it done efficiently out there as well.
Yeah, exactly, and teammates getting the ball, just been able to play good offense and get him back in hand. It looks like there's a little review here going on as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to check because we spoke about whether that ball left his hands in time to beat the end of the third quarter clock, and the officials just going back to review that play, so I'm sure we'll find out more once they've watched that over a few times. They do have the lighting around the backboard up here in Pleven.
Oh, they've given it by the looks of it.
And I don't know if you can see it here. Here's the 3 going up. You see it's two seconds to go as the ball touches the rim. 1 second to go. Oh, yeah, and it counts. As the light, you see the lights just come on the backboard. How big could that possession be for Pleven as they go into the fourth, Gareth?
Yeah, but I think just having that review system as well, though, because certainly if you were coaching and you saw that happen, and then it definitely went in or whatever. So that, it's just showing what a great bit of technology that is, because that is an important basket for Pleven. So yeah, a good a good use of the review system there.
Confirmation of the score then after 3. It's Spartak Pleven 55, the Bristol Flyers 66. They have an 11-point lead, their biggest lead of the game so far. It matches the biggest lead of the game so far, I should say. And you look at the supporting cast. We spoke about it in the build-up to this game, Gareth, but having the support from the supporting cast out there on the court. I mean, I spoke about Brad Green with his 18 points and 7 rebounds. But there's also 3 other players on double figures so far. That's Graham Bell, Keedron Johnson, and Tevin Ollison. And that's important. You know, it can't all be done by one player. It's important to share the love on the offensive end.
No, it certainly is, and they all seem to understand that nothing's, nothing really been forced. It's, all kind of, good drives to the basket. So to have that sort of buy-in to that style of play, again, it just. Similar to last year, where the guys were fully bought into that and bringing back Ollison and Trajan Jacob. Again, the previous year was a good year as well for the Bristol Flyers, sort of buying into that style of play and working together on both ends of the floor. It's you got to give credit to coach for getting the type of players in that will enjoy playing that style.
Well, can Coach Kapoulas get his ENBL campaign off to a winning start? The fourth quarter is underway here in Bulgaria. Three-pointer is up. Three-pointer is in by Stanimir Marinov. And he's now up to 15 points. He scored 9 of those in the first quarter and just picking up where he left off in the first period.
Exactly. You mentioned some full concentration, and that's it. Don't forget your scout reports, and this is the most critical part of the game now, coming to the end of the game, and just a little turnover there as well.
Stolen away by Pleven. Fugit, nice pass inside. Still with Fugit, kicks it out. It's a new 14 for Pleven, but Marinov's 3 heat check that time, but they do grab the offensive rebound.
Four on the shot clock.
They have to shoot here. Fugit looks up at the clock and realises, and Flyers able to get a defensive stop.
And he felt that would have been a massive bucket if that had gone.
58-66 is the score. Obviously not on your screen right now. Lucas driving inside, reverse layup, puts it up and in. Wow, what a move!
So tricky in and around the basket. Lucas, different ways of finishing. He has no fear, does he? He just attacks the basket, sees the basket and he'll attack it. Again, you talk about footwork, being able to just change direction, change your speed, getting the defender off balance and get yourself a route to the basket.
Fugit, guarded by Lucas. Step back 3, too much that time. Rebound falls to Leslie Smith. Flyers just want to eat up some clock here in this fourth quarter. About a minute and a half into the final period. It's going to be a foul called on Pleven, and that will be their first team foul. See Brad Green getting set to return to the game. As you mentioned, he's had a good rest in that third quarter, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in this final period, because, as you say, he'll have fresh legs out there.
Yeah, he's been a real headache for the Pleven coaching staff of how to deal with both ends of the floor.
Lucas. Screen comes from Green. They're lobbed inside to Green. Double team comes and Brad Green just finishes over them. Right on cue. Brad Green's having himself a game out there tonight. Now up to 20 points to go along with his 7 rebounds. Ball inside to Gordon. Gordon nowhere to go. Green on him. Pass just trickles out of play.
Yeah, Green there defensively, really tied up. The offensive player couldn't really back him down. Had to stop, had to pick the ball up and end up throwing the ball away. Referee's having a little chat here about something.
Well, there's a confirmation of of the score on your screen. We are taking the world feed tonight, so unfortunately we do not have control over the screen. So apologies if you weren't able to know what the score was then. It is up back now. Lucas. It's going to be a foul called on Tojkov. You see it here, just looking to reach in on Lucas, and
done for pace, and nothing more we could do really, just to try and claw back a little bit, and can't call for a foul. Nice spin.
Ball into Ollison. It's going to be a goaltend. Ball was above the cylinder, and the basket will count for Tevin Ollison.
Let's have a look at that one.
You see it, the ball has to be above the cylinder, and you see it slap the
backboard as well, so you're unable to interfere.
The rule is essentially once the ball has gone off the backboard, you can't then interfere with the backboard. It's going to be Pleven ball from the sideline. You see just a bit of battling down low between Thomas Edwards, and that sort of stuff you don't necessarily see out there on the court, but such physical play out there tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, a lot of actions that happen off the ball. You know, your mind is generally, you are watching the ball. There's a lot of actions that happen, a lot of X's and O's to get players open, and screens, and bumping cutters. A lot of things that are happening all the time in a game of basketball.
Well, foul was called on Tijon Lucas, and it's going to be Marinov to inbound. Just given back to Pleven here. Shinokazev inside to Gordon, backing down. Green, straight move inside by Andrew Gordon even. Now 7 points to go along with his 2 rebounds.
Yeah, he certainly created a lot of space there with his strength, able to bump Green away from him and give him that look at the basket. Strong move.
Thomas Edwards, Green's got position inside, ends up with him. Here he is backing down Gordon now. Hook shot is up, and too short that time. And the rebound is gathered in by Gordon. 3-pointer is up. Ball went in and out for Marinov. And that's one of those ones where did everything but just drop through the hole.
Yeah, there's been a few of those. There's been a few escapes with some decent looking shots. Just haven't dropped.
Under 6 minutes to go. Flyers still holding on to that 12-point lead. Jacob looking to go inside. Kicks out to Green. Green for 3, why not? He had to shoot with the shot clock winding down. But another offensive rebound for the Flyers. 3-pointer on the way is good.
That is a big shot.
And Trajan Jacob, that is a very Trajan Jacob shot.
Yeah. Just leaves his arm out as he shoots that ball very high, sort of follow through, very high. Lovely action. And that was a difficult shot.
Flyers now with their biggest lead of the game at 15. Midway through the 4th. Purvis kicks it out. Pleven with another 3. This time is good.
Both teams beginning to sort of heat up a little bit from behind the arc, which said full concentration needed now.
It's like how they started this game. Both teams really caught fire early on. Called off in the second, and then here's Green again. And they cannot stop Brad Green right now. He's now up to 22 points to lead all scorers. Oh, great hustle from the Flyers. It's going to be a jump ball. The possession arrow points towards the hosts.
No, it looks like it's going to be Bristol ball, I think. Timeout. It's hard to see, isn't it? Without being in the arena,
it is hard to see.
You've got a bit of a close-up here, and I'm not sure. I think it Bristol ball.
Yeah, it's going to be Flyers ball here. A 14-point lead. Just over 4.5 minutes to go. Coach Kapoulas' side are on the brink of their first ever win in their first game in Europe.
Oh, Joel, too early kicking. Yeah, that's looking good, but...
Here's Graham Bell. Oh, tough fadeaway. Oh, what a shot from Ruel Graham Bell. It's looking like Kobe out there. Now the Bristol Flyers just pushing this lead out even further. Purvis. Screen comes from Gordon. Good help by the Flyers. Back inside to Gordon. Puts it up and in. And Andrew Gordon's had a couple of back-to-back moves up against Green there.
Yeah, we didn't see much of that in the first half, but Andrew Gordon, very effective down low.
6'10", big man. Out of Carson Newman, of course the same college that former Flyers captain Josh Rogers went to, and it's stolen by Green here. And Jacob fires up for three, why not? And Trejon Jacob knocks it down.
He enjoyed that one as well, a little celebration there. Just extends that lead. Flyers looking in a very good position right now with 3 minutes 16 on the clock.
See Coach Kapoulas just playing defence with his team out there on the court. Need to turn the screw even more. 3 points are no good for Pleven.
You see Coach Kapoulas had his hand up on the shooter as well from the sideline. I think he knows the danger that can prove.
Ollison for three. It's going to be a foul on the jump shot as well, and you see Purvis's reaction to the call. But it will send Tevin Ollison to the line for 3 foul shots here. And a timeout's been called on the floor, and in Gareth, I mean, this fourth quarter, Flyers have outscored the Spartak Pleven 16 points to 10. See the reaction there from Rodney Purvis as his side have it all to do in these last 3.5 minutes. But how impressed have you been with the way this Flyers team are seeming to close out this game?
Well, I've been thoroughly impressed. We obviously coming into the game, we really didn't know what to expect. European, Bulgarian basketball, but you know, the game plan's been good. Apart from maybe the first 5 minutes, which you know, on the scout, they're a team that like to shoot, but they've adjusted really well. And just offensively, able to get that inside-outside game. Brad Green, for me, has been the standout player for this game. Really been the difference maker, both ends of the floor. And you know, this European style of basketball, as you mentioned, Joel, seems to really suit him.
As you say, there's still under 3 minutes to go in this game, so there is still time for Spartak Pleven to mount a comeback. But they're going to do it. They have to do it quick here. They're led by Stanimir Marinov, the Bulgarian international, 15 points. Not far behind is Nikolai Stoyanov, who has 13 of his own. And again, as you say, Gareth, there wasn't much expectation going into this. There's a chance for Flyers to, you know, dip their toes into the European waters, see what it takes to compete at this level. And I don't think many of us would have maybe thought that they'd come out on top in a game like this and be so emphatic like they have been in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's right, going away from home on your travels, not knowing really what to expect. So it's been a really outstanding performance, and it's a little taste of it. Plenty more games to go, different styles from different countries that we face.
A reminder, you can watch the Flyers in home action in the European North Basketball League on Halloween night when they welcome Vitenos Juventus to the SGS College Arena. Tickets are still on sale over at bristolflyers.co.uk. Under 2.5, or just over 2.5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Great ball fake and knocks it down. Nikolai Stoyanov for three. And as you said, they have to move quickly here, and that's the perfect way for them to chip away at this lead.
Yeah, and that's if there's a way of getting back into the game quickly, it's, you know, gunning from outside and knocking them down.
Brad Green jams it. There's a broken up play, and Green just says thank you very much.
Lovely. Just tops off a really outstanding performance. Just getting that one and throwing that one down off a steal. And here he goes again.
Stolen away. It's going to be an offensive foul. It's one of those ones where if it was football, you'd almost wish there was an advantage there, because the Flyers had a 2-on-1 break by the looks of it, but
I wasn't sure what happened. Was it just the momentum of the player who passed it?
You see Graham Bell just taking position there and just able to take the charge, but at the other end you see Tevin Ollison had an open lane. Well, 2 minutes left to go here in Bulgaria. And Bristol Flyers are on the verge of their very first ever win in Europe. Their very first game as well. I'm sure lots of British Basketball League fans will be rivals to Bristol in the league, but when they're on the international stage, I'm sure they'll be supporting them all the way, just like Newcastle Eagles in Group B as well.
Yeah, they are representing the British Basketball League, and we want to make sure that our league continues to develop, which it certainly has done over the last few years. And to see teams playing in Europe, new arenas being built, it's really progressing nicely.
It's going to be a foul called on the offensive end, and Shinokajev is driving to the basket. He's just driving past Graham Bell. The foul's called on Graham Bell. They're not in the bonus though. And Gareth, what kind of key takeaways do you think that Coach Kapoulas will have from this experience? Of course, they flew up yesterday, they fly back tomorrow, and then obviously down to Plymouth on Saturday night. But for him, obviously, it's been a long journey to get to this point. 19 years with the Bristol Flyers, and now to finally be playing in their first European basketball, European game. They're on the verge of winning this game. And what will he have learned from this experience, do you feel?
Probably lots of things, behind the scenes stuff, like from the, it's crazy. It's not just about coaching a game of basketball, is it? It's about the whole process of getting there, hotels, what we're going to do, when we're going to train, and all that kind of, the whole package really. So, the whole entire, Bristol Flyers organisation have learned an awful lot, which was the main point. So almost the coaching and the game side is just a part of that whole kind of process really. But yeah, I'm sure, especially when he'll come away with the win, which is looking heavily like it's going to be a win, it'll be a really good experience. But I'm sure they've learned, and they can take things into the next game when they go on the next trip. What they've learned from this one, different styles of play.
Nice pass into Green, and Green just continues to punish them. And 26 points now for Brad Green to go along with his 7 rebounds. Ball up for 3 by Purvis, knocks it in. And they've done well to shoot from behind the three-point line. They're shooting at a very high percentage from deep, over 42%, but it's those points in the paint that they've really struggled. Just 14 points in the paint tonight for Spartak Pleven. Ollison's fadeaway, no good. And just a couple more possessions left in this one as Pleven go coast to coast.
So just remind us, Joel, on the league status, you just play a team
so every
once?
team plays each other once in league play. The top 4 from each group will advance to the ENBL playoffs, where there is a aggregate score in the first round and then single game knockouts in the final 4. As you see, the foul is called there as Lucas hits the deck. You're going to have to get a shot away here because there is still a differential between the shot clock and the game clock. I'm sure those travelling, that little pocket of travelling Flyers fans will certainly be very happy to see their team pick up a win in their first ever game in Europe.
Yeah, they can look back in a few years and say we were there, we saw the Flyers. Oh yeah, slippy caught there, and that's definitely not what you want to see so this late on the game, because that's got injury written all over that. So luckily he's okay.
Tijon Lucas knocks it in for the first one to get his tally up to 7. He's also got 8 assists tonight for Tijon Lucas. So really playing playmaker out there tonight.
Looks like they'll just run it out.
Well, that will do it. Bristol Flyers have got their European North Basketball League campaign off to a flyer as they've defeated the 2-time Bulgarian champions BC Spartak Pleven 90 points to 73. And Gareth, what a moment it is for Coach Kapoulas and the club, everyone associated with the Bristol Flyers. 19 years in the making for this team, and now to not only be competing on the European stage, but to get their first win as well in their very first game too. I imagine that just means the world to everyone involved with the programme.
Yeah, just watching Coach there just sort of walk out, giving high, and he kind of got to the end and he allowed himself a big smile. He kept himself very professional whilst high-fiving, but when he got to the end, a big smile, and what an achievement, and long way to go in this European competition, but just to get into Europe and to win their first game, setting history tonight.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Gareth. Well, that's going to do it for the game here tonight, but do still stick around, because after the break, Gareth and I will be back in the studio to break down all the action from tonight's game.
Is watching basketball at 3 in the morning enough? No, of course not. So you always wanted to be part of the team, your own basketball club, in your own backyard. What if I said you could? ENBL. 9 European countries, 15 pro teams, 60 games a season. The fastest growing basketball league in Europe. In the arena, on TV, or streaming live on your phone. Reach out to us and join the ENBL family. ENBL, right here in your backyard.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
Good.
Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Ayy, cause I head tired like I'm on my tiptoes, baby. You think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ayy, where the money at? Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but don't mess up the mood.
Welcome back to our coverage here on Flyers TV, where Bristol Flyers have just become the second British Basketball League team to win a game in Europe in the last 19 years. And what an incredible performance that was by Coach Kapoulas' side on the road against Spartak Pleven. I mean, 73 points to 90, Gareth. They really blew that game open in that second half.
Yeah, they certainly did. And it was a bit of a difficult start, the first quarter. Pleven shooting the ball really well. They made some big adjustments and then really did sort of dominate the game inside and out, and restricted 3-point opportunities towards the end, and it was certainly in the second half, and just eased themselves to victory. Great performance.
And such a special moment for everyone involved with the club. I mean, we've spoken about the players, but obviously the fans at home, the staff, the volunteers, everyone associated with the club. They've been through this programme since NBL Division 3, the Flyers. They've worked their way up through the lower leagues of British basketball. Now it's their 10th year in the top flight. And now, to get a first win in European basketball, it just shows the development of the whole programme as a whole.
Well, Coach Kapoulas always does say, trust the process. I mean, that's what we've been hearing for the past 19 years, and the process is there to be seen, really, and it's been done the right way as well, from development, bringing players through the system, and then just each year getting better and better, adding the everything around, the club and the team. It's just not about the team, it's about everything that's happening around it, and it's just grown to such a monumental day today.
Well, let's take a look at some of those highlights from the second half. And what a performance it was in the end by Brad Green, because he finished with 26 points. He had 7 rebounds as well. And he really led from the front. I mean, we spoke about how big this Spartak Pleven side are this season, but didn't seem to bother big Brad Green inside.
No, big Brad Green looked very comfortable out there, didn't he? Just too big, too strong on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively, getting it done. And really, Pleven didn't really have an answer to him. Only a little bit of post-play sort of late on in the fourth quarter. But for me, he was the real difference between the two teams.
You see Rafel Graham Bell getting in on the action. That was an incredibly tough fade away from him as well, and he had a great game. He was one of 5 players in total to finish in double figures for the Flyers. 12 points for Graham Bell. Keely Johnson with 14 points and 5 rebounds, and Tevin Ollison a very quiet 17 points to go along with 5 boards as well.
Exactly. It's a sign of when you're playing well, the players can kind of go under the radar and just score freely without being sort of noticed. It just shows the spread and depth of the team that Coach Kapoulas has, that at any point in time, players can step up and contribute offensively and defensively as well.
What will this do for momentum and also confidence for the rest of Flyers, not only their European North Basketball League campaign, but also their British Basketball League season too? Yeah,
it's going to have a massive boost for confidence as well. I suppose the only thing is just the travel and the games coming thick and fast, what toll that will be on the bodies, but the support staff at Flyers are excellent, and I'm sure they'll take every measure possible to look after bodies and make sure they're fit and healthy to go. But that's sort of your only concern. But in terms of that feel-good feeling of winning their first game in Europe and then bringing that back to the British Basketball League, you would think it's going to have a very positive effect.
Great stuff. Well, let's take a look at the key stats from the game here tonight, Gareth. And when you look down the stat sheet there, what is it that really stands out for you? Because, of course, we spoke about the three-point shooting, which Flyers ended up shooting a higher clip in the end than Spartak Pleven. That rebound battle as well is huge. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the one that sticks out for both teams is the shooting percentage from behind the arc. 44% from Pleven, but 50% for Bristol Flyers. I mean, that's some great shooting from them, and we haven't really seen that too much over the years, that standard of high percentage shooting. But rebound battle has been massive, and we talked about points in the paint as well, being massive for Bristol Flyers. So a really good all-round performance. Really, I'm sure Coach will be very happy looking at those stats when he's reviewing the game in the next sort of hours or days. Great stuff. Thanks, Gareth. Well, Bristol Flyers getting their European North Basketball League campaign off to a winning start away in Bulgaria. But we've got plenty of action coming up for you for the Bristol Flyers. They travel down to Plymouth City Patriots on Friday. But the next home game you can watch the Flyers in action are against the Newcastle Eagles on Saturday, October 21st. It's a late tip-off of 8 p.m, and you can watch that game over on the British Basketball League YouTube channel. There's also limited tickets available, so if you're interested in going down to watch that game, they're available over at bristolflyers.co.uk. And then next time you can see the Flyers in European action at the SGS College Arena. Halloween hoops at the SGS College Arena. Nice little bit of graphic design there from the guys. Little pumpkin there with the basketball. Tuesday, October 31st, Flyers taking on Lithuanian side Utenos Juventus with tip-off set for 7:30 p.m. Our coverage will also start half an hour before that. It will start at 7 p.m, and Flyers TV will be the only place you can watch all 7 of the team's European North Basketball League campaign games, both home and away, this season. Well, Gareth, just final words on the result tonight for Bristol Flyers. A huge win and a moment of history for the club.
Yeah, it's a historic moment. First game in Europe, and then to top it off with a convincing win as well. A really good performance. It couldn't have gone any better tonight for Coach Kapoulas and the Bristol Flyers.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Gareth. Thanks for joining us here in the studio. Thanks to you for tuning in at home. That's going to do it for our coverage here on Flyers TV this evening. But for Gareth Till, I'm Joel Osborne saying so long, and we'll see you next time.